Hey, what's going on? YST here, welcome back to another raid video. I've been excited to showcase Uugo and it's finally come. So we got the support champion from the Uugo tribe faction. She is absolutely insane, and in this video today we're going to do kind of a two-part thing. So part one of the video is going to be showcasing her in an Ultra Nightmare Clanboss setup. It's more about her than the setup that I'm using, but I will kind of show you how to do that composition if you're interested in it. And following that, in the timeline below, if you just want to drag to something that's not Clanboss related, I will be showcasing her in some other areas of the game and a completely different build. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Okay, so Uugo is one of those champions that's just S tier in almost every area of the game. When you talk about dungeons, faction wars, progression, the Clanboss, arena, almost everywhere in this game, she is really good to use, and that's really hard to get in the champion nowadays. They're kind of specified in certain areas of the game where you will want to use them. But with Uugo, she's like, who cares? I'm gonna be good everywhere. So let's get into her kit and see exactly what she can provide for your team. Okay, so let's get into the kit. So A1 attacks one enemy, has a 35% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. This chance increases by 5% for each alive enemy. So when you talk about the dungeons, etc., this is gonna boost up by an extra 20% or 25% depending on how many people you're facing. So it's going to add to that leech, but mainly I would say this leech is really good for the Clanboss, because having a leech under A1 allows you not having to use lifesteal sets in all of your compositions, which is really nice because especially on progression, you might not have the best of lifesteal sets and you might want to start using broken sets. So she could be a person that can fit into your team and help you reach the higher stages of the Clanboss. Then under A2, attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance once booked of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. This is what we like to see. We don't want to see those 4-turn cooldowns, and also has a 50% chance of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. Block buffs are very underrated when you talk about the arena or the Doom Tower or even the Clanboss on Affinity. Really nice to have on those enemies, so definitely very viable. This is a very S tier skill similar to a Masteries, having 2 really good things in one skill. And then the chance of placing a block buffs debuff increases by 5% for each alive enemy. Once again, very similar to the A1. And then on the A3, removes all heal reduction debuffs from all allies, then removes 1 random debuff from all allies. So what does this mean, guys? You have got a cleanser for your Clanboss team if you had the honor of pulling this champion. So if you don't have a Bad Alcazar, a Doom Priest, an Uugo could be a very good option when trying to cleanse your stun target in the Clanboss, which I'll show you a bit later on, and then heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP, and that is a 40% heal once booked, which is really hefty. And if all allies are dead, revives them with 50% HP, then fills their turn meters by 50% instead. So if she's the last one alive, she's going to be able to bring everybody back in like an arena scenario, and it's going to work out really great. It is really RNG based, and you want to build a tanky enough to survive every single hit. Possibly a Swift Parry set could be great on this champion, but I haven't personally put her in that yet. But that kind of does scream out in my mind when I think about this skill. And then it kind of leads into the passive, so places a 30% increased speed buff and block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. So if she's the last one alive, like I said before, she'll be able to get that block damage up on herself and make sure she can bring all your team back and hopefully lead you to victory. So overall, guys, leech on the A1, defense break and the block buffs on the A2, we've got the heal reductions, the cleansing and the heals on the A3, and we've got a passive that could put a block damage on herself and lead into an A3 to revive all of your allies. Very solid champion, and I would say she's S tier as an epic category. So let's get into the gear that I'm using for the Clanboss. You don't have to use this kit, guys. You don't need to use lifesteal because you've got the leech on the team. Bearing in mind it is only a 40% chance, so definitely use something like a counter attack or an ally attack to keep this consistent, because if that drops off and you're not using lifesteal sets, it could be really hard for you. So yeah, we are rocking a lifesteal set. So we've got speed here, we've got speed here, we've got accuracy, defense and speed. We've got HP percent here, defense on the chest plate, HP percent on the boots, then we've got accuracy with some speed, crit damage here, and then we've got attack here with a nice attack percent roll here. And then heading into the main stats, we've got 54,000 HP, 3,300 defense. Not the best for Ultra Nightmare, but that's not what this video is about. It's about trying to showcase this champion for what she is, and then throw it into your kind of Clanboss teams, depending where you are. Brutal, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare. I just want to kind of show the value of where she could be useful in your teams. Then we got a 177 speed, 67% crit rate, 123% crit damage, and a 247 accuracy, so we can land the debuffs on the Ultra Nightmare Clanboss. And heading into the Masteries, I will change this a little bit later on when we get further into the video. So we got offense tree, then we got the defense tree, heading into retribution and the deterrence. So that's Uugo, and I'm just going to briefly show you the stats of my other champions. If you're interested in this composition, I will briefly explain it, but as I've said before, it's mainly to showcase Uugo as a champion, and it's less about the build that I'm showcasing her in. So I'm using Raz and Scarhide in this team. Then we got a 174 speed. Accuracy is terrible. I'd recommend above 250 if you're using this champion. And then we got Underpriest Brogni, who was a fusion champion that we just had. He's got 70,000 HP, not even the best accuracy once again, and a 173 speed. And then we brought back the main person, Sepulchre Sentinel, to use the block debuffs, decrease attack on the A1, and the increased defense aura. So we got a 239 speed, 4,700 defense, and a 241 accuracy in a lifesteal set. But once again, if you can get that leech debuff up consistently, you do not need to run lifesteal, and you could possibly focus on stalwart gear. Okay, next champion, we got Skull Crusher, and he is at 191 speed, and this is for Ultra Nightmare, guys, bear that in mind. And accuracy you don't really need, 4,200 defense and a 58,000 HP. So that's going to be the comp that I'm using in this team. I'm not using any poisons, I'm using just a Raz and Sky, who's a fusion champion, and a Skull Crusher for counter attack, because I did do a poll and most of you guys want to see counter attack in teams, so I thought let's throw Skull Crusher back in the mix. And then we got our Uugo here to try showcase what you can bring to your team. So let's get into it. Okay, so we got Sepulchre Sentinel for the decreased attack. We got Underpriest Brogni to kind of help Sepulchre Sentinel out with placing the block debuffs, because they're going to go back to back, keep you affinity friendly, so you can go into any kind of Clanboss team and it will work for you. You do not need to have Underpriest Brogni because we do have Uugo as a cleanse. So as long as you got Sepulchre Sentinel putting a block debuffs up on the AoE 2, you can use your Uugo to cleanse the stun target once they get stunned. So bear that in mind. As long as you tune it correctly, it will work out fine for you. And then we got Raz and Scarhide for decreased defense and weaken. Who doesn't like to have that on the Clanboss? So let's get into it. Okay, so you may see here that I'm putting Sepulchre Sentinel with the block debuffs on turn 1. I'd recommend doing it for turn 3 if you're trying to replicate this, if you're not facing blue affinity, because she will be the stun target if it's not blue. And in this team here, we don't have to worry about it because the stun target will be going on Underpriest Brogni, but just bear that in mind. But what I like to do is place a block buffs on Uugo for turn 3, because you want to put that block buffs up so the Clanboss doesn't get increased attack. And if you're not running an affinity friendly comp just like this one and you just want to see the full cleansing and how it works with the AI, let's just switch over into another run quickly. Okay, so Underpriest Brogni got stunned there, and will Uugo take it off with the AI, because that's extremely important. As long as you tune it on a 3-turn cooldown, and there we go, removes debuffs. So if you had the question in your mind, will she cleanse it? Yes, she will, which is really nice if you're not running a block debuffs on your stun target. So guys, I'll let you watch the rest of this run, and then we'll head into the second part of the video where we showcase him in the arena and other areas. But I will link the full turn order for this composition in the description below, guys, so go and check that out if you're interested in it. But just enjoy the run, I'll speed it up for you, and then we'll get into part 2 of the video. So there we have it, we got 31.59 million using no poisons and just a team that I threw together just for the sake of this video. Definitely lots of room for improvement. This team can definitely reach a 2 key if you optimize it correctly, but I hope this can show you the value of Uugo. I wouldn't personally recommend her if you're very endgame, but if you're on the rise and you're in your progression period, this champion is very viable of helping you reach the Ultra Nightmare Clanboss and cleansing the stun target on your champion. So overall very solid champion, and also leech on the A1 and decrease defense on the A2. And let's get into some other areas of the game where we can showcase Uugo in some other builds. Okay, so thank you for the 50% off with the silver cost, because I've managed to just quickly put the gear back on, which I initially used for Uugo, but I've had to change that whole Clanboss team just to showcase to you guys. So we've got accuracy set, we've got a mortal set, and we've got a perception set to get extra accuracy and speed on our champion. We've got double speed here, we've got speed and crit rate, we've got speed, crit rate, accuracy, and we've got defense percent with some speed, we've got HP percent with some speed here, and then we've got speed with some crit damage and resistance, we've got accuracy on the banner, crit damage on the amulet, and then we got attack with the attack percent on the ring. And heading into the masteries here, we got the defense tree going down to here for extra support, and then we got the support tree heading down to timely intervention, which is my personal preference, which increases the champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally hero drops below 25% HP. So let's just say in the arena you get nuked and everyone dies. This timely intervention mastery is going to help you boost Uugo's turn meter up to 100%, and if she survives that hit, we'll be able to proc her block damage and be able to revive all of your champions and give you a second chance at victory. So this is my personal preference. You do not have to blindly copy masteries, but I just thought I'd showcase how I like to use it. And then overall stats is a 50,000 HP, 3,000 defense. Definitely on the lower side. I'd say bump this up to maybe 70,000 HP, maybe 4,000 defense. You do not want this champion dying. Then we got a 227 speed, because I like to rock my Uugo fast. Then we got a 400 accuracy, very close to it anyway. So we can get those debuffs out, because we want to get the block buffs and the decreased defense no matter where we are in the game. Maybe not Platinum Arena, it's not worthy for that, but definitely High Gold 4 or any kind of Doom Tower content. So let's get into some areas of the game and have a lot of fun with Uugo. Okay, so let's take it into this campaign run and kind of show off our passive and her reviving. So hopefully our food champions here can die. Let's just put an A1 so we can get some deaths on our allies. Alright, Uugo's just lapping people here. Come on. Alright, one champion down. And champion 2 down. You see that? Block damage up on our Uugo. So if this was in the arena and she was the last one alive, she would have procced that. No one's going to be able to kill her. Then she can go around, put up her A3. Revive our 2 allies, well it would be 3 in the arena, and give you a second chance at victory. So, but I wouldn't recommend her as a campaign farmer, but she's definitely viable and be able to do it. Okay, so we're just going to throw it into a Dragons 20 run. We got decreased defense and block buffs, so nobody can place buffs on themselves, and just allows our champions to go through and slam just like this. So even if our champions die and she's the last one alive, let's say we get to the end, we got to the dragon and everyone dies, she's going to proc her passive, she's going to use her A3, bring everyone back alive, and the run's just going to go on as normal. So hopefully we can get this done in quite a fast time here. And there we go. So 1 minute 17 seconds. My best time isn't even the greatest, it's at 109. I don't have a seer, but 117 is very reliable. So definitely very solid for this kind of scenario in the dungeons. Okay, so when you talk about the arena, Siffies for example, all those people that place those crazy buffs on themselves, she can go through and do this for you. So get the block buffs out. Look at that. Apart from Skull Crusher, because we did get a weak hit, which is one kind of downfall of this ability, but on other champions, this is going to be very useful, especially Siffy, because she is absolutely busted. Even Valkyrie with those huge shields, anyone that's annoying you, she'll be able to mitigate that for your champions. Now you can just go through one by one and just kill everyone. Because what can they do? They can't place any buffs on themselves, especially if you speed them out like this, it doesn't kind of help. Okay, and another person is Skullcrown, who hates that unkillable, and then she comes back at you and sometimes wipes your team out just because she's got unkillable on. So let's just mitigate that right now, because that's what Uugo can do for you with the block buffs. Alright, then we're just gonna meme them with some Royal Guards. And she didn't proc anything because the buff was blocked. So there we go, once again. Block buffs, very OP, so definitely use it in the arena. Alright, so let's attempt to show off that passive and the revives in the arena. It's really hard to replicate because she has to be the last one alive, and it's really hard to kind of judge that. But we're gonna try here. Hopefully our Royal Guards can die. Let's just put A1s everywhere. Oh god, this is a pretty weak team. Alright, so you see that there, she put the block damage up, and then she's going to be able to put the revive out, bring everyone back, and then slam down your opponents. Of course, that wasn't an endgame team we were facing there, but at least you can kind of see how it can work. And if you build it with like a high resistance, very viable in the arena. Definitely use her. Don't leave her in the vault. She is good absolutely everywhere. So let's just quickly go into a Doom Tower run and then we're going to sign off. Okay, so I've just realized that the Doom Tower has just hit rotation and we're going to have to face floor 1 unfortunately, but we got some Skull Crushers here and a miscreated monster, so we can kind of block some buffs and showcase it a little bit there. Why not? So there we go. We got the block buffs on everyone. And once again, Skull Crusher didn't get it. We see that, no counterattack. So in the higher ends of the Doom Tower, when you're facing siffies or people that you're having problems with, block buffs is very viable. You can see it here. Nobody got the counterattack on, so it allows our champions to kind of go through and breeze through them a lot easier than it would be without it. Of course, this isn't going to be an extremely fast run, but I just kind of wanted to showcase her kit. She's got the heals, she's got the leech, she's got defense break, she's got block buffs. Everything that you may want in a kind of champion to fit into your roster. Definitely very viable. I can't express it enough. So that's going to be all for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and let me know if you use Uugo and what kind of kits that you like to use in her. Maybe a Swift Parry set is one of the best ways to go for the arena. It would be a lot of fun to see, so I want to see your screenshots, join the Discord and all that good stuff. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace.